Well, hello traders and investors. I'm LA Little and this is your daily NeoTA wrap. We take a look at these markets. We're doing it from a neoclassical perspective, and that means each time we're asking ourselves what happened today, what might it tell us about the coming ones. We do that through supply and demand on the charts. We have an algorithm, we have a way of looking at the markets, a model. It's the neoclassical model. It says look for points of significance, look how price test into those areas, and then use that to make decisions about what's going to happen next. I do this show 4 times a week, every Monday through Thursday. It's broadcast at or before 10 o'clock Eastern Time. It's archived on YouTube, and it's under the channel LA Little. If you haven't subscribed and you want to, just reach up in the right-hand corner and do so. Anytime I push content, you will get a notification. As far as what happened today, the market was under pressure a good part of the day. Towards the end of the day, we got a big boost. The Russell shows it. Oil, OPEC, they come to the table. Saudi Arabia under so much pressure. I told members this weekend that they're under so much pressure, I expect the deal to get done. We have some exposure to the oil market in our portfolio. And, maybe that's going to actually turn out all right now. Russell, anytime oil goes up, anytime lately, last 2 years, it's been riding the woes and the joys of the oil market. Up 0.75. NASDAQ quarter up. I don't have the NDX up here now. I'm not sure where the NDX went. It was up slightly as well. Half a point on the S&P, 0.61. Things like ExxonMobil, so forth, they just soared when oil soared. Up 5% here on oil. Nice big spike. And if we look overseas, and we're going to go there, the DAX up 0.75%. Same thing with the CAC and the Swiss market. So we get a push up in the overseas market, and we're going to start there because when I said at the top of the show that we look at supply and demand on the charts, we look for points of significance. Last night I pointed out the fact that this came down, didn't quite do the test, but got very close on this high volume bar, right? And when it did that, right, it immediately, the sellers disappeared and this thing shot back up. Now, it only got this high. Today, you got a nice big boost. Again, Wall Street was under pressure all morning, so this did sell back down. I don't have volumes. I'm doing this show early today. I'm not going to be around this evening. So what we did see, though, was the push back up. In other words, up in this case, looks like about 0.75%. I would not be surprised to see this try to get back into this bar, which is what I talked about last night. If you look at the other markets like the CAC in France, a little push there as well. And I want to go over to the Swiss market, looking at the SMI, and same sort of thing. So you got the same action on all of them. Shanghai, we hear so much about Shanghai. The problems there, and I don't know if it's really a bubble. I don't know where this thing's going to go over time. All I know is if I look at the longer term charts, right, this market is trying to work its way higher, but it has a lot of problems, and it has a lot of problems because it skyrocketed before and then come crashing back down, right? These big crash down bars, same thing here. That leaves a lot of resistance on the way back up. And so when we look for points of significance, if you just take the bottom of that bar and this bar, you can see how that's going to be hard to get over. It's not hard to see that. As a matter of fact, if you drag it over a little bit farther, you actually have the retest regenerate zone off this bearish break of that swing point low. That's what keeps these prices contained. That's what's tried to regenerate lower each time now. Whether it can get lower, it depends on whether it can break other areas of significance on the way back. And so we'll just have to monitor and see how it does as it comes back again, assuming it continues. But right now, it's caught in a sideways range and it doesn't have much more to do until that gets resolved. Let's go to the U.S. markets. Let's look at some of the action today. I'm going to come to the sectors first. I want to see what these look like. I'm going to start with the energy sector because that's where we had the big boost. Look at that skyrocketing move. Now, last night I talked about the fact that this had came into this bar to test, right, the highs of the lows. A lot of times that becomes an area of significance. You got decent volume there. You come into it. Look at your volumes comparison, right? Less volume, right? Flips around, does a hammer. Today you get the skyrocket move back up on the energy sector. The weightings in that sector are heavily skewed towards about 4 companies. Let me pull up the sector weightings and the holdings. And let me see, ExxonMobil is the largest one. That's about 20%. Look at that move on Exxon. Let's look at the weekly. Look at this. Comes back in, does a retest regen, bullish, right? Comes back in, does a retest regen on the bullish side, does a full retest, flips back around. This is going to try and get back over these price points in here. If it does, it's going to make highs again, and that's up around the 100 point. Bring over the monthly now. Wow, nice ABCD structure starting to form. A lot of good stuff starting to happen here. If this end of the month actually holds and does a little hammer reversal, it's not going to have the ideal volumes or anything, but if you get that move going, this certainly can go attack the highs again at some point. So ExxonMobil not looking too bad, and that's that sector. Let's look at some of the others, the other heavy weightings. Chevron is the next heaviest weighting. That one, actually, that one's even heavier. It comes in at 22%. So big moves there. So these are like 3.2%, 4% on Exxon. Same nice looking, all of them same setup on those. The other heavy weightings, Schlumberger, let's see what that one looks like. This is oil and gas equipment. A little bit weaker, but the same sort of setup. And then there's one other one that's fairly heavy. Let me see. Oh, I quoted the wrong one. Chevron is about 13%. ExxonMobil about 16%. Schlumberger is a 7.5%. I was looking at the wrong column here. And where's the other one? I thought there was 4. I guess it's just those main 3. Those main 3 are the vast majority of that index. So big move in oil. Of course, that helps the overall indexes. Speaking of the overall indexes, let's take a quick look at those. And just so you know, I do think oil, this is not a one-day thing. This is going to probably continue. Let's get the volumes. I'll just go to the SPY and so forth and see what the volumes look like. So a little pickup in volume. Here's the IWM getting back over the breakdown bar, settling back over the top of it. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see these things continue to try and move higher. I said as much last night. Here's the Qs. That one also looks pretty good. Volume-wise was lighter, though. Here's the SPY picking up volume. Going to come after that breakdown bar again. Bringing it to here, it's actually over it if we're not doing dividends, which you have in the SPY. So today on the cash, it's over it. So you're back over it. You're going to go after the highs. If you get over it right, you got an ABCD structure to the upside here. That price point looks something like that. And if you imagine a completion of it, what does it do? It breaks all the swing point highs. Finally, going to the strongest of the indexes, which has been the NDX. Let's take a look at it. Not back over that high yet, but again, you can see this on every chart you look at now. Every one of them's got a pullback and have set up potential ABCDs bullish to the top side, and they're fairly nice moves if they get going. I like the way the market looks. I said as much last night. I'm certainly no different about it today. Higher oil is going to help a sector that has been burdened for a long time. I don't think that goes away, and it's probably got some legs. That's it for tonight. Have a great one. I'll see you next time. Good night.